take both off. And Koldrick is gonna get locked up. Golson's had enough. You're done. You gotta be careful when you mess with the Tiger's cage, young man.
Bang, bang, bird gang. Pat Mahomes said, "Not so fast, my friend." But we are not here to talk about football, folks. This is BEG Wrestling. You want it, we got it. This week, folks, we're on the road, so we're going to make a few adjustments. We have our expert, Dwayne Brain, on the other line, so we're going to get right into it. We have some big matchups this week, folks, spotlighted by none other Keegan O'Toole and David Carr. Wayne, what are your thoughts?
All righty, Mr. Zach. You got a little taste of what it's like to be a truck driver this week, eh? Folks, we got a huge week this week. Huge! Wednesday, O'Toole versus Carr. Of all the matchups this year, and there was a bunch of them that I really looked forward to, this stands at the top for me. And here's the thing, we get to probably see it 3 times. A lot of people may think O'Toole is such a craft master that he may run the table and win all 3. And that's not bad thinking. I mean, watch the kid wrestle. He's unbelievable. But we can't forget about Carr. I mean, Carr has kind of elevated his game, and he's got all the tools. So I personally think, okay, I think O'Toole's going to win the first 2, and I think Carr's going to win it, the final one. I think O'Toole may go down with David Teller as one of the greatest 2-timers of all time. Now, I could be wrong, because that's tough to pick. When you're talking about that quality of athletes, that's just flat out tough to pick. And I can hear the people in the background over there. What about Griffith? What about Griffith? He's a national champ. You're right. You're right. Griffith almost had O'Toole beat last year in the finals, although a lot of people thought O'Toole was hurt. Griffith has a solid head. And I don't think athletically he's where Carr and O'Toole are, but his head is so good. And such a big part of this sport is your head, that Griffith has a shot. And I'm not counting him out. But for the most part, I think it's probably going to come down to Carr and O'Toole. But watching all 3 matchups are just going to be fun. And that's coming Wednesday, Zach.
All right, we're looking forward to that matchup. We're looking forward to a lot of matchups coming up, folks. But something that I know we want to talk about is some of these referees out there who think they're celebrities. They may rhyme, referees, celebrities. They're not the same. What are your thoughts, Wayne?
Now, getting into the action, there's some great action this weekend, boy. We had 2 number 1s that had to go into overtime to keep their number 1 rankings. One was Nino over Trumbull, and we all know Trumbull's tough. That whole 197, throw a coin up out of 6, 7 wrestlers. It could be any one of them. The other one was Rob over Gallagher, Patty Gallagher of Ohio State. And the thing about that match that bothered me about that match is, you know when there's a good ref in charge or reffing a match? I'll tell you when I didn't even realize who the ref was. That's when a good ref is in charge. They completely were out of the picture. And why is it every year or almost every match I notice when Angel Rivera is reffing a match? And it's like, it's always, I mean, it was a very, very tough 2 stall calls right there in the first period. Both of them, Rob was pushing hard on Gallagher to be out of bounds. Gallagher, by the way, wrestled hard the entire match. And to me, that has to be a determining factor. How hard is the guy wrestling here? I kind of like it when you're lightning fast with stall calls, but be consistent. That's all. And the other thing is, if the guy's wrestling real hard, give us an action. Give us an action over there at the edge. This guy's not stalling. And Gallagher wasn't stalling. And did you really want to determine the winner of that match there, Rivera? Did you? Really? Because I hate that. I hate when a ref is like, I don't know. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but it sure comes off as, everybody look at me. Look at me, everybody. I'm here. I'm the ref here. Please. Everyone notice? Everyone notice?
All right. I don't think that's the last we'll be hearing of Angel Rivera. However, we have to move on. And something that I want to touch on here is the mindset, okay? Wayne, practice strategy. What are you thinking here?
We had a whole bunch of great wrestling this weekend, and I'll touch on some of them. But first off, I want to bring up the fact that South Dakota State's Divas beat Plot. Now, here's the thing about that. It was just last week during the press conference. The coach was kind of criticizing Plot. Plot lost that 1-point match. And it was like, what was he saying? What'd he do? What'd he do? What did he do? Did you see him do anything? I didn't see him do anything. He didn't do nothing, he kept saying. And I thought to myself, wow, whoa, this, we have a handful of coaches that still do this, that will kind of criticize their wrestlers a little bit. And let's face it, that's a little embarrassing. And for the wrestler, I'm not sure why they don't take it to the back room and go over stuff like that. The thing is Cael has came and changed the game, folks. We're not playing checkers no more. This is chess. And it's like other sports that have evolved. But wrestling hasn't evolved. And I tell you, it's huge. It's huge in your wrestler's head, and confidence is huge. And, the fact that Plot came out the next match and lost to a guy he shouldn't have lost to, here's my point. Could you say that when Plot lost that 1-point match, that the coach could say, hey, some of that's my fault. In fact, a good deal of that is my fault. Because, quite frankly, I think almost anything can be fixed through drilling and instructions and drilling, and then more instructions and drilling, and then more drilling, and then more drilling, and get to where they're so explosive that they need that last takedown with 30 seconds to go. They're down by a point. They're used to it. They're used to exploding and then putting chain wrestling together. That's the thing about drilling. You can start to add to it and start to create that chain. And you notice the greatest ones of all time, it wasn't just one shot. And you didn't have a chance to reshot. It was shot to this side, shot. And eventually they get in. And eventually when they wanted to score, they scored. And it's almost like guys aren't comfortable doing it because they didn't drill enough. But that's just, I don't want to help the other teams. Hey, you other coaches out there criticizing your guys, have at it. Go, keep doing it. Keep doing it. I don't want to help you any. Keep doing it. I'm just saying that for me to take the kid in the back room and say, okay, that's together, that's fixed, what happened there. Might be a better approach, but what do you think, Zach?
All right, folks. So you just got to experience a little bit of my childhood. But I will say this, made some great points. Something I want to mention or compare to. Okay, what Cael is doing now in wrestling, or what is happening in wrestling, it happens in all sports. It happens in business. It happens in every aspect of the world. For example, you think about Coach K. See, what is happening here? Wrestling is changing as a sport. And all sports change. And it happened in college basketball. You think of, okay, Bobby Knight. The sport was one thing when he started, and then it changed, and he could not change with it. So he went out of touch. Then you think of Coach K. Coach K, at first, resisted the one and done structure ordeal. And then he became much less successful. And then he figured out, I better change with the times. And then he did. And then Coach K's right back on top. Or if you want to think about it in football, Bill Belichick, defensive coach, defensive mentality, not changing. What's happening to Bill Belichick? I don't know, not in the playoffs, as opposed to Andy Reid. Andy Reid. This boy is changing every year. He's got plays with players running circles around in the backfield. Are you kidding me? This boy is changing Andy Reid. What's he doing now? What's Andy Reid doing now? Yeah, I think you know. But anyway, we got to get back to Wayne. We got Wayne on the line. We want to get back to him. He wants to touch on some, I don't know, maybe disappointing Penn State performances.
A lot of people's just a home state, Penn State homer. And, you're right. I am. But I'll be the first to tell you when a Penn State wrestler does something boneheadish, or just I question his heart. You're going to hear it from me. You're going to hear it from me. And I'll tell you one right now. Gary Steen. Who stood up for Gary Steen all year? Me. How many times did I say Gary Steen's got the skills, he's got the tools, all he needs is a little confidence. When I read an interview this past week, Gary Steen, I'm getting that confidence. It's coming. When I first started, I could never get takedowns, and now I can get one every once in a while. Confidence is building. Gary, the season's about over. Here you had number 15 all set up. It was like a pitch coming down the middle of the plate, and I mean, it was set up for you to hit this and out. And what do? You bunt. You lose 1-0. You shoot and you get in deep with 2 seconds left in the second period. And then you dance around again more in the third period when you had to get the takedown to win it. And dude, you're running out of time. And it's like, we don't have time for baby steps right now. It's time to go. The match wasn't going to depend on whether you won, lost, or even somehow it went all wrong and he put you in the back and pinned you. Penn State wasn't going to lose that match. That match was set up for you to go take out number 15. And it was ready. It was set up, and that was frustrating, folks. And Gary may turn out to be a great wrestler. If you remember when Teskey first started with Penn State, he was, well, I hate to say it, he was a deer in headlights too. And then over time he started to, and once he left Penn State, it started to click for him. And that might be the case with Gary. I don't know. But, man, that's hard to watch. That's hard to watch. And some of Penn State's wrestlers, the Bartletts, that take forever to finally shoot. He went the whole first period without getting a takedown. And I thought to myself, what's going on? What's going on? But I love Penn State. I love all wrestlers. But I get angry. At times.
All right, Wayne. Yeah, that's what I thought. I told you how many weeks ago about Steen. I had that boy read like the Da Vinci Code book. I don't know who you're kidding. Anyway, why don't you talk about and wrap up some of this past weekend matchups? Here we go.
I'm going to go over some of the results that happened this weekend that I thought were fascinating. Paris over Cass. What a match there. Cass might have got ripped there a little bit. Quite frankly, I am not a ref, so I can't be too critical there. A ref could come in and explain to me why Cass only got 2 there, in case you've seen the match. Seabrick from Iowa beat Lewan from Michigan, and at some point, Lewan, in overtime, this whole game plan of yours, because Lewan has a great shot, and I swear every match it's the same thing. At some point, it's got to make you sick, Lewan, and you're gonna. At some point, you say, I've had it. You know what? I'm going out. I'm getting started right away. I'm not waiting until overtime, the end of the third period, to get my great shot out. And but I got to give it to Seabrick. I mean, he kind of hipped over top and got to take. He's a funk wrestler, and I don't like Seabrick's chances against a real fundamental wrestler that is very good at keeping his position. I don't think Seabrick ever beats Levi Haynes. But that's my opinion. Keckeisen over Coleman 7-5. I watched that match, and Keckeisen kind of controlled the match. The score was closer than what, but wow, that I mean, I'm glad it happened. I want Coleman as number 4. I want him and Brooks to meet in the semis. That is one of the matches I'm looking forward to coming up. Glory, he had a close one against Penn's Miller, 9-6, which I thought, whoa. And this is supposed to be the guy to knock off Spencer Lee. But then he came back today or the next day, Saturday, and had a big win over a decent kid. So it's all going to come down to Glory and Spencer. I mean, we'll see. Labs over Smith, that was a great match. And I got to give it to Labs. He is a nice scrambling wrestler. When you think you have him, you don't. Cronin, I guess, has established himself. Nebraska's Cronin has established himself as number 3. He's legitimately number 3 in my book. Of course, we had O'Connor 11-3 over Antonian. That was a fun match to watch. Now, O'Connor is he is one of them wrestlers. He's solid. He's very good with his positioning. We'll see about his stamina. I'm not handing him the trophy yet. I think that's got 4 or 5 guys that could win that title. Antonian, the thing about Antonian is everybody loves Antonian. He's fun to watch when he goes up against a guy like O'Connor or someone that keeps their position that's not going to play into this throw the kitchen sink style wrestling. Antonian can get beat and has been beaten by O'Connor multiple times. Swartz from Oklahoma, at some point we have to start taking him serious. He wrestles Carlson today, but what a season he's been having. North Dakota State's Franek is number 2. I don't have Franek as my number 2. I just don't. He's very good. We'll find out how good he is. He has a good win or 2 in there. I went and looked at his wrestling stats. He's got a good win or 2, but not a resume that's got me putting him at number 2. But that'll all shake out. Here's a name you think dark horses that are coming. What would be a dark horse? Hendrickson from Air Force, the 285 pounder. He goes out and decks number 15 in 37 seconds. At some point, he kind of gave Paris somewhat of a close match. Hendrickson is scary. He's just scary. And I'll tell you another one, Davidson. Lucas Davidson. Them two scare me as a Kirk fan probably more than Cassiope. Now, I personally can't wait till Kirk gets another shot at Paris, but he's got to get there first. I see Filippi, number 6 from Pitt, took a loss to number 19, Oreen. Matthews went over Jack. Matthews is tough. Matthews is going to be a factor there at 41. Everybody has it written down. Well, it's Alirez and it's Woods. That's what it is. And that's the two. Whoa, just break that a little bit. There's some other wrestlers there that could, and let's be honest, I like Woods, but he doesn't have a whole lot of really big wins this year. He missed a good portion of the year, and I haven't had enough sampling size to know just how good Woods is. Is Woods on the top plateau with Alirez? We'll find out. We'll find out. But there's a lot of great wrestling coming up, and I'll tell you another dark horse, if you don't mind me just bringing it up. Mike Carr from Illinois. Mike Carr was the real deal. It feels like it was back in 1990s. It's how long Mike Carr's been around. But no, it's not. Mike Carr could be is it crazy to say Mike Carr could make the national semifinals? Not crazy at all. I mean, that is absolutely, Griffith goes against Sheets today. I'm anxious to see how that goes. But that was pretty much the action there. I'm anxious just to, we're getting to fun time here.
We had some great matchups, folks, and we have a lot to look forward to. Wayne, before we let you go, I do want to get your final thoughts. Mainly specifically on what do you think is leading to success in college wrestling?
My final comments. Okay, I'm going to take heat over this one. But this, wrestling, you get yourself in shape, you get yourself drilled till everything's right, okay? Everything's set, right? And still, I swear, it feels like 80% is from here on up. And I seen something this weekend, and Rutgers Saldona lost to Brooks. And hey, Saldona's just I'm sorry if I pronounced his name wrong. He's just a freshman, and he's good. He's good. In fact, we may be talking about his national title someday. But they got done, they got up, and Saldona gave Brooks a pat in the butt. And they shook hands, and they went off. And look, folks. Look, I am all about good sportsmanship. But as the coach, in the back room later, I would have, hey, Brian, come here. Let's have a talk. Brian, I noticed you pat Brooks on the butt there. I just want to make sure we're both on the same page with your head here. Like, it's almost like when you pat on the butt, it's almost like, well, I kind of expected to lose this. Yeah, I'm glad you didn't hurt me. Yeah, good guy. I'm not in your league, dude. Dude, you got to believe you're going to beat that guy. I don't care who it is that's coming out on that mat. Now, you gotta shake the man's hand, be good sportsman afterwards, don't put on a show, don't act like a little baby or something. But you should be quite upset. You just lost, and you fully expected to win. And that's what blew me away. It's like, no, what the message that sends, you never expected to win this match. So we need to work on your head. And this goes out to a whole bunch of wrestlers out there. If you aren't going out in that mat fully expecting to win, I don't care if Mr. All-American everything is walking out in the mat to wrestle you. You know what? You're going down. Because, and I love when wrestlers do that. Like, hardly not ranked wrestlers go out and they go right at it. I loved it. Kind of like Vista against Spencer Lee. I can name a whole bunch of. Heck, the beginning of our broadcast, that Jeff Byers call against Jason Nolf. It was a no name that was out there. I forget what his name was. But you know what? That match, he went after Jason Nolf, and I respected that. Then he made Jason Nolf mad when he started dancing like, who did he dance like? McGregor. He did the McGregor dance. But, hey, I love wrestling. And I can't wait for the ones coming. Zach, you're doing a great job.
All right, folks. I think you know why I didn't shake people's hands after a loss back in high school. I think it's very evident. But I think that's all we have this week, folks. Here on BEG Wrestling, we have a lot to come. Hold on. My beeper is blowing up. My beeper is vibrating. Hang on. The Wayne train. We have breaking news here. This is Valentine's Day, folks. I want to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. The Wayne brain is coming in. We're going to go to him for some final thoughts. This is BEG Wrestling.
All right, boys. Big news. Pam, for Valentine's Day, bought me fat-burning gummies. It's just a matter of time, boys. It says I can do anything. I can eat ice cream, candy, cake, and it don't matter. It just eats the fat away. So, get a good look now, boys. Get a good look now. 190 pounds coming.
This is BEG Wrestling. We'll be back.